Welcome to this tutorial on sending the Ctrl+Alt+Delete command to a remote desktop. If you've ever used remote desktop software, you might have encountered this challenge. Today, we'll cover 3 methods to send Ctrl+Alt+Delete in remote sessions. Before digging into the 3 methods, it's important to understand why sending Ctrl+Alt+Delete can be tricky. On a local Windows machine, this key combination opens security options like locking the computer or accessing the task manager. However, in a remote desktop session, pressing Ctrl+Alt+Delete activates these functions on your local machine instead of the remote one. So, how can we send this command directly to the remote session? Now that we understand the challenge, let's look at 3 practical methods to send Ctrl+Alt+Delete to a remote desktop. We'll cover using an on-screen keyboard, a keyboard shortcut, and finally, a solution that makes the process even easier with TSplus Remote Support. Let's start with the first method. Our first method for sending Ctrl+Alt+Delete to a remote desktop involves using the on-screen keyboard. This is a virtual keyboard that you can access directly from the remote device, making it a practical solution when a physical keyboard shortcut isn't convenient. Here's how to use this method step by step. Before anything else, make sure remote connections are enabled on the remote device and that a remote user is set up. Once you have the remote session open, you're ready to proceed. Start by clicking on the Start menu in the remote desktop session. Navigate to the Accessories folder. If you don't see it, you can also type OSK in the search bar to quickly find the on-screen keyboard. Click on Ease of Access and then select On-Screen Keyboard. This will open a virtual keyboard on the remote desktop. Now, use your mouse to click the Ctrl, Alt, and Delete keys in sequence on the virtual keyboard. This method is helpful if you're using a device without a physical keyboard or if you prefer not to remember the key combinations. However, it can be a bit slower compared to other methods, especially if you need to send Ctrl+Alt+Delete frequently. Next, let's explore a quicker method, using the Ctrl+Alt+End keyboard shortcut. This combination works similarly to Ctrl+Alt+Delete, but is specifically designed for remote desktop sessions. It allows you to send the command directly to the remote machine without affecting your local system. Here's how to do it step by step. First, make sure your remote desktop session is active. You can do this by clicking inside the remote desktop window to ensure it's the active screen. Once the remote session is active, press the Ctrl, Alt, and End keys simultaneously. This will send the Ctrl+Alt+Delete command to the remote desktop, giving you access to the task manager, lock screen, or other security options on the remote machine. If you're using a laptop or a smaller keyboard that doesn't have a dedicated End key, you might need to use the Fn key along with Del. For example, press Ctrl, Alt, Fn, and Del together to send the command. The End function is often located near the arrow keys on these smaller keyboards. This method is much quicker than using the on-screen keyboard, but it's important to know the correct keys, especially on smaller devices. The third and most efficient method is using TSplus Remote Support. This solution simplifies remote management by providing a direct way to send Ctrl+Alt+Delete and other commands to a remote desktop session with just a few clicks. It's a great choice for those who regularly manage multiple remote desktops or need more advanced features. Here's how to use TSplus Remote Support step by step. First, download the TSplus Remote Support client for your device. There are versions for both Windows and macOS. You don't need an installation. Simply run the downloaded program. Ensure that the .NET framework is present if you're using Windows. Once the client is open, the end user needs to share their ID and password, which are generated by their TSplus Remote Support program. You, as the support agent, will use these credentials to connect. After a successful connection, access the Commands tab in the TSplus interface. Here, you'll find the Ctrl+Alt+Delete button. Click this to send the command directly to the remote desktop, allowing access to security options such as the task manager or lock screen. What makes TSplus Remote Support particularly useful is that it also supports unattended access, letting you connect to remote machines without needing someone present on the other end. This is ideal for after-hours maintenance or troubleshooting. TSplus Remote Support is designed for ease of use, with no complicated setup. It also features multi-agent support, allowing several technicians to collaborate on the same session, chat functionalities, file transfer, and multi-monitor support. To wrap up, sending Ctrl+Alt+Delete to a remote desktop can be accomplished with several methods. The on-screen keyboard and Ctrl+Alt+End shortcut are viable options, but for a more streamlined experience, TSplus Remote Support is the recommended choice. To learn more about TSplus Remote Support, download your free trial on tsplus.net and experience the difference. Thanks for watching.